Welcome to Short Movie Channel. The film starts with a hitwoman named Emma, who is carrying out a special mission. After she kills the target and completes the task, she removes the disguise she's wearing and returns to her natural appearance. She then goes back home and meets her husband David, daughter Caroline, and son Wyatt. It's revealed that Emma is hiding the truth about her job from her husband. She tells him that she works for an international company, which is why she travels often. It appears that Emma is living a happy married life with David. Later that night, Emma learns from David that the next day is their wedding anniversary. She feels guilty for neglecting her husband and suggests they celebrate in a different way, like going to a hotel and using fake names to pretend they are meeting for the first time, get to know each other, and spend the night together. David likes the idea and agrees to it. The next day, Emma goes to the hotel and waits at the bar, but David is delayed due to heavy traffic. At the hotel, a man named Bob approaches Emma and tries to strike up a conversation with her. Although Emma isn't interested, he keeps talking to her, asking about her life and work. He also gives her the room number where he's staying. When David arrives, he joins them and becomes suspicious of Bob's words. He offers Bob a drink, and they continue talking. It's clear that Emma and David are uncomfortable with his presence, so Bob thanks them for their time and leaves. Afterward, David and Emma have a pleasant time together, drinking until David becomes visibly drunk and unable to stand. Emma helps him to their room. Once inside, David heads straight to the bed and falls asleep. Emma then leaves the room and goes to Bob's room, where she finds him holding a gun. It's revealed that Bob is also a hired killer, and he plans to kill Emma because she decided to leave the criminal organization she worked for. The organization issued a kill order on her and put up a large reward for anyone who kills her. Bob tells her that he won't kill her if she pays him more than the reward money the organization offered. Emma is surprised by his offer, but she tells him that she knew what he was from the moment she saw him, and that he won't have the chance to kill her because he's the one who's going to die now. She reveals that she poisoned his drink earlier when they were talking at the bar. Indeed, the poison starts to take effect, and Bob struggles to control himself. He tries to kill Emma before he dies, pulling out his gun and shooting at her, but he misses. Emma then attacks him, knocks the gun away, and strangles him until he dies in her hands. The next day, David and Emma return home. Emma calls her friend Peter, tells him everything that happened, and asks him to prepare something for her because she will travel to Germany to pick it up. During the call, Emma notices that David is nervously looking at his phone, so she ends the call and goes to check on him. David is anxious because he learned from the news that a murder occurred at the hotel they stayed at the previous day. They believe he was the victim. They discuss a man and a woman who were with Bob before he was killed in the hotel room, which means that David and Emma are suspected of killing Bob. David suggests they call the police and tell them they had nothing to do with Bob's murder, but Emma explains that they can't do that because they use fake names at the hotel, which would make the police suspect them even more. David is convinced by her reasoning and tries to calm himself, telling himself that everything will be resolved once the police catch the real killer. The following day, Emma travels to Germany to meet her friend Tarek. That night, David is arrested and interrogated about Bob's murder. During the interrogation, a female intelligence officer named Carver enters the room and shows him photos and documents proving that Emma, his wife, is a hired killer, wanted for arrest in many places around the world. She also reveals that Emma's real name is Anna and that she assumed the identity of a dead woman named Emma and has been living under a fake identity for all these years. David also learns that Bob was a hired killer and that Emma is the one who killed him. David is in shock, unable to process what Carver is telling him, and he doesn't believe what's happening. But Carver tells him that if he searches his house, he will find evidence confirming that his wife is a hired killer. The next day, David searches the house and finds a large box in the storage room. When he opens it, he discovers fake passports, disguises, and weapons. At that time, in Germany, Emma meets Peter, who gives her the things she asked for, which are fake passports for her husband and children. It turns out that a car is following them, and Emma quickly orders Peter to stop the car. Afterward, she gets out of the car and heads to the alley, with two men from the organization following her. A strong chase ensues, but Emma manages to take control of one of them, knock them out, and loses consciousness. She quickly exits the alley and runs toward the subway station. While running, one of the organization's members follows her, and she enters the subway station, where the member continues searching for her. However, Emma captures her, knocks her down, and strangles her, taking her gun, which has sedative bullets. Emma shoots a bullet, which causes the member to lose consciousness as well. Emma leaves the subway station, and Peter is waiting for her in his car. Suddenly, they are shot at by one of the organization members. Peter pulls out his gun and shoots the attacker, then quickly drives away from the scene. After a short time, Peter stops by the side of the road because he has been hit by a bullet. Emma can't save him because his injury is critical, and he dies instantly. At that moment, Peter's phone rings, and Emma answers. She finds a file in the box that she had hidden at home. David then talks to Emma, explaining everything that happened and saying that he called her because he wanted to hear the truth from her. Emma gets emotional and admits that she used to be a hired killer, but she left the organization she worked for. She tells him that the organization is now chasing her everywhere. David decides to travel to Germany to hear the full story from her face to face, and also to be with her because he loves her. Emma tries to stop him from traveling, understanding that it will put his life in danger, but David insists on his decision and travels the next day. When David arrives in Germany, Emma tells him that her father worked as a drug officer and that after retiring, he founded a private security company named Carver. After a while, her father died, and she was still a child. Carver raised her and taught her all the fighting techniques and trained her on weapons. Later, Carver forced her to carry out many assassination missions, convincing her that those she killed were spies and enemies of the country. However, as Emma grew older, she realized that Carver had been lying, and she was doing these missions for money. Eventually, Emma decided to leave Carver for good and settle with her family. While they are talking, a group of Carver's men enters the house, and it becomes clear that they want to kidnap Emma. David decides to protect her, but Carver's men shoot them both with sedative bullets, knocking them out. After some time, Emma wakes up and finds herself in Carver's house, the leader of the organization. Carver is sitting with her children. Emma asks Carver to keep her children out of their problems, and Carver agrees, telling one of her men to take the children to the playroom. Carver then speaks to Emma and explains that she never asked Bob to kill her, only to kidnap her and return her to the organization. Carver still loves Emma and considers her like a daughter. Carver offers Emma to work with her again, but Emma refuses. Carver then changes her tone and threatens to kill Emma's children if she doesn't follow her orders. The first task is for Emma to kill her husband, David, since he knows everything. The second task is for Emma to return to working with her again, no conditions. Emma realizes that she has no other choice but to agree. She takes the gun with one bullet and goes to the forest with David. While walking through the woods, Emma notices a sniper watching her. She stops in a certain spot between the trees to block the sniper's view and warns David. She apologizes to him for what she's about to do, then shoots him. David falls to the ground. A while later, one of the organization members arrives to take David, but Emma attacks her, takes the gun, and kills her. David is still alive, and we learn that Emma shot him in a specific way to cause only a minor injury. Emma then asks David not to move so the sniper won't see him, and she takes the gun and moves toward the sniper. She surprises the sniper and kills him. Afterward, she returns to David, and they head toward Carver's house. On the way, Emma notices one of Carver's men approaching them. She attacks him, kills him, and returns to David. She hands him a tranquilizer gun and asks him to save the children and wait until she gets to him. David takes the gun and heads quickly to the playroom, where he shoots the guard with a tranquilizer dart, knocking him out. He sits with the children, waiting for Emma, just as she told him. Meanwhile, Carver is at her house with her bodyguard, Gigi. Suddenly, they come under gunfire. Carver manages to escape quickly to protect herself. Emma finds her in the woods, hiding between the trees. Emma shoots at her, but Carver escapes at the last second and runs deeper into the forest. Gunfire exchanges between them, and the chase continues until Emma manages to outsmart Carver. She shoots her in the stomach, and Carver falls to the ground. She begs Emma to kill her, but Emma says she will let her bleed out. Emma then leaves and heads back to the playroom, takes David and the children, and they quickly drive away from the place. On the way, Emma apologizes to David for everything that happened. She tells him that she made new passports for them with new identities so they can go to a safer place and live a happy life after all the dangers they've faced. The movie ends here. If you liked the movie, give us a like and leave your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel.